Hello and welcome. So happy that you're here. And I'm super psyched to be here because on today's episode, I am doing one of my favorite things, and that is to talk about a spiritual concept in real practical terms and to make it actually kind of as human as possible and less esoteric or less what I consider outside of our realm of influence. Because many of the spiritual concepts that are dished up to us, and especially a lot in pop culture, are great introductions to an idea. But how does that really translate into empowering ways in which we can actually live and work with energetics and vibration and everybody else in the world around us? And today's concept that I am going to unpack for you is the idea of divine timing. So we're going to talk about what it is, but also perhaps what it isn't, and then the ways in which you actually have more of a role to play in divine timing than perhaps you may have thought or been taught in the past. It feels like one of those spiritual concepts that is very outside ourselves, like very woo-woo, in that we don't really have a lot of say in it. But the fact of the matter is, we actually have a vital role to play. So let's start by looking at what divine timing is and what it isn't. So, divine timing, this idea that life is unfolding in this perfect sequence of events that are orchestrated by this higher power or universal flow. And this maybe belief that everything has a right time and a right place. And therefore, by default, there's a wrong time and a wrong place. And while this may not always align with someone's personal preferred timeline, that it is always happening for our highest good. Now, none of that is incorrect, but none of that is completely infallible either. So the idea that there's this guy in the sky, or there's this pre-written, predestined way in which we're going to live, and it's mapped out, and it's just a matter of us being in the right place at the right time or waiting for the timing to align with us, feels just so redundant. It feels like we don't really have a say over it, and that is completely not true. The idea that we are souls having this human experience and that we're constantly evolving and learning and changing should actually be this really fun aspect to our humanity, and not something that we give over to any type of higher power. I want to stress, we live in a universe of energetics. And so we live in this idea, or this world, I believe, that, like attracts like. And the timing of our life is really up to us in so many more ways than this concept of divine timing allows it to be. There is no higher power dictating the timing of our lives, but there is universal flow, and there is the idea that we have universal interaction with other people's energies, timelines, and agendas. And so there are bits that are out of our control, but there are certain bits that we do have to take responsibility for. And the first one is to recognize that we live in a very fast-paced world, perhaps too fast in terms of our brain's evolution. And so it's very easy for us to feel impatient. It's a very human quality to have, right? Like, we want the things that we want now, whether it's like the new job or the romantic partner or the finances or even like the personal growth. But divine timing, this concept teaches us that things align at the precise moment, not when they're just meant to, but when it is right to, when it is a vibrational match. And that these moments are not dictated by our desire for them. Remember, we do not get what we want. We align with who we are. And this is influenced also by the universal flow, by the things that are external to us, by the unseen connections that are happening and unfolding in order for the alignment to occur. It is also determined by our readiness. I want to remind you that you're not the only one in this world. It's not your universe and we're just living in it. Wouldn't that be nice? Sometimes I, would just like a day of that, but that's not the reality, right? So each of us are living in our own individual movie. I like it how Don Miguel Ruiz talks about it in the Four Agreements. He talks about we're all living in our own dream. And I think I know what he means by that. He's saying that each of us have our own perceptions, our own view of the world, our own beliefs. And so how we move through this world is really a very unique and individual experience. Like you and I could be watching the exact same movie, but getting completely different things from it because we're both living in our own projection of our own dream, of our own experience, of our own perceptions, of our own desires. And that makes the world a really interesting and fun place to be because things are constantly changing and things are constantly aligning that are a match and then disconnecting because they're no longer aligned. And it's like a big game of snakes, ladders, and chess and all the things rolled into one. And so it can feel sometimes as if there's all these unseen connections and things unfolding that are just out of our control. So we just kind of give it up and we're like, we sit back and we're like, it's divine timing. But that's not what it is about. It's not about passively sitting back and waiting for life to happen to you. And it's definitely not about hoping for something, but rather it's about aligning your life in such a way that you can be receptive to what is coming to you when the timing aligns for all the forces and impacts on those forces when it is right. So if you think about like a basic one, let's think about you're really wanting, say, to connect with a romantic partner. So you might do everything that I'm about to discuss in terms of your role of divine timing. But the fact of the matter is that that person might still be in their current romantic connection. That person might not be at this present moment, or someone that's right for you, desiring a connection for themselves at that time. That person might physically be somewhere else in this planet. And so there is an element that we can't control. You might have this idea of this dream job that you want. You might have this idea of this dream company that you would like to work for. But that dream job and the people there are not aligned yet with you because they're not ready or it's not appropriate in their timing. The dream company might not be looking for someone right now. So we don't just get something that we want, we get something that we're aligned with. So really in divine timing, we only have influence over our side of the street. So let's go through your role in divine timing, knowing that we can't control anybody else's timeline. We can't force, we can't manipulate, we can't convince. All we can do is really look after our side of the street, and with a deep sense of love and patience for whoever is right for us, will collide at the exact right time, in inverted commas, or it will be divinely timed. And remember, it's not some dude in the sky wheeling out his stopwatch or his calendar and saying, like this is going to collide, these two energies are going to collide on this date. No, it's just that this is the beautiful, complex, fun world we live in. This is just, it's just how it works. This is the dream. All of us dreaming our own dream and having that intertwined with others at certain points along our path. So, your role in divine timing. First, You have to align with what you desire, like I alluded to before. You do not get what you want, you get who you are. We are energetic beings. We live in a world of vibrational resonance. Our magnetism is determined by what is going on inside of us, and our magnetism is how we receive. And so if we want to receive our desires, we must be in vibrational alignment with them. So this is why it's so important to look after your side of the street. You get really clear on your intentions, you're doing the inner work, and you're letting go of the attachment to outcomes. Now, I'm very aware that I just spewed out 3 spiritual slogans all in a row there, but I have done a podcast episode on intention setting, so please go back to that. Most of the podcast episodes we do either like individually with myself or people that I speak to are different aspects of doing the inner work. And we will continue to have those conversations on this podcast. And then letting go of outcome. This is a big one, but part of that is letting go of the when it will happen. Like I hate that saying it'll happen when you least expect it. It's actually not that. Things can actually flow to you when you're not strangulating and controlling the exact when, how, why, all the things. So detachment is actually a point of really deep alignment. And have I done a podcast episode on that? Have a look back through, but it's definitely something that I know I need to speak more about. Your other role in divine timing is to completely surrender to the present moment and actually enjoy living here. So when we're living in our current circumstance, but we also know what it is that we want, which may differ. I mean, it might be completely contrasting to your current circumstance. You know, I'm living like this, I hate it, and so I want that, right? When we have to, in every present moment, fully open to and surrender to what is. Radical acceptance. We have to be able to say, I might not like it, but for whatever reason this is happening, because there's still stuff for me to learn here. There's still stuff for me to experience here. And we have to be able to stop avoiding all the bits of our lives that we don't want through surface level positive affirmations or through completely focusing on the desire and missing the opportunity of what our current circumstances are trying to teach us. Like, let's just say, you know, your biggest dream is to have a certain amount of money in your bank account, but right now the account is dwindling to zero really fast. The worst thing you can do is just focus on the $1 million and how you're going to get it when you haven't actually stopped and fully accepted that right now you're broke. And what is that here to teach you? What is it that you need to understand about yourself and the world in this moment and fully accept it? Not spend too long in self-pity and the healing and get imbalanced that way, but also not be the whole time in visualizing and, you know, impatience that the money hasn't come. It's like, how can you be at your most aligned vibration even when the things that you want seem far away and you're just hoping that it aligns when the time is right? How can you live your best life in the present? Because when you are living in a way where you are focused on doing the work on your purpose, you are busy creating, you are busy being happy, you are so magnetic to the things that also vibe that energy. And I would imagine the things that you desire vibe that energy. Focusing on joy, on gratitude and self-care absolutely primes you to receive what it is you desire or to align with what it is you desire when the timing is right for all involved. Your other role is to have and work on a heightened intuition. Intuition is the key to being in sync with divine timing. And I'm going to teach you why and how to cultivate that. And lastly, importance of trust and patience. You can't rush timing. Like, it is what it is. And how you develop endless patience really enhances your connection to your intuition and to be able to feel through life's natural rhythm and flow. My intuition really is my strength when it comes to divine timing. So, for example, there's something I'm desiring to align with now. And trust me, I am doing all the practical steps I am about to walk you through. Okay, I'm doing them. But my intuition tells me that the thing that I desire to align with is not ready because they are working through their things. And that situation is working through their things. Nothing I can do about that. Sure, my human side wants to get frustrated and indignant and like, why can't this happen to me? And he shows me A, where my inner work needs to happen. But B, it's also reassuring to have that intuitive knowing and guidance that there's not like, there's only so much I can do. And if that side of the street aligns, great. If it doesn't, not to worry, something else will come through. I think it's Marianne Williamson's book, Enchanted Love, because I know love's a big one where people get really frustrated with timing. In her book, Enchanted Love, she writes this letter to her lover. And this lover has not yet come into alignment with her on the physical human plane, i.e. she's single, right? And she writes this letter to her lover of complete, compassionate support, love, and trust. And in this letter, she's basically saying, like, I trust you. I trust your timing. I trust that you will align with me when the timing is right, not just for you, but also for me. And in the meantime, just know I love you. Know that I am loving myself to the highest degree. Know that I'm creating such a beautiful life that I one day cannot wait for you to be a part of. And I know you are doing the same thing. And it's just such a beautiful tool to use when you may feel like you want to be pouring more positive energy into the divine timing process than you do want to pour frustration into it. So some practical steps to align with divine timing is things like meditating regularly to clear your mind and become really receptive to that intuitive guidance. It's to cultivate trust and surrender, like releasing your need for control on the timing. It's to practice self-awareness and self-care, to raise your vibration and to use the tools such as affirmation, visualizations, letter writing, journaling, whatever it is, to create energetic alignment with your desires. Living in a flow state is the most magnetic way you can live, and it kind of cancels out the idea that divine timing is even something that you need to think about. I mean, ultimately, I would love you to know that divine timing isn't something that you need to think about. It's only something you need to consider to remind you that you have a role to play in it. So signs that you are in flow with divine timing is like ease, joy, synchronicity, the right opportunities and people appearing seemingly out of nowhere. The contrast is like how it feels when you're fighting against it and pushing for things too hard, impatience, frustration, trying and it not coming off. Trusting the process and surrendering is what brings divine timing into a flow rather than something you need to create. So here's the truth. I want to repeat again, divine timing is not about waiting for things to happen. It's about aligning yourself with the flow, universal flow, and being ready when the time comes. It's not about this universal higher power, this man in the sky, or whatever you believe, that is just going to hand things to you without your active participation. You have to be prepared to receive, or I would say you have to be willing to become what it is you crave. You have to be prepared to align through likeness rather than indignation or desire. So first things first, clean up your side of the street. Remember, your side of the street is the only one you actually have proactive control over. And I don't even want to say control. It's the only side of the street you have practical curation over. So you can't control everything, but you can control your response. It's like the same thing, right? The principle applies to aligning your energy with desire. It's so crucial. So start by doing this. Start by cleaning up your street, by doing the inner work, clearing out your limiting beliefs, releasing old patterns, healing the past wounds that may be blocking that flow of abundance or alignment into your life. And if the flow isn't happening, it's likely there's something there for you to learn. Remember, radical acceptance of what is will allow you to surrender to that. It's not an invitation to stay in there too long and to get really stuck in there, but rather it's an opportunity to do what is required in order to be in vibrational alignment with what it is that you desire. If you're holding on to the past, if you're in fear, if you're doubting, if you're creating like energetic clutter through distraction or like putting things in your life that are kind of what you want just to entertain you while you're waiting for what you want, it's all going to interfere with divine timing. I'm going to use the dating example again. Like, you know, those people that just like date, or sleep around just because they crave the attention or they don't want to be alone, as opposed to sitting with themselves and waiting till they really understand what it is that they desire and they need from a partner, and then having the self-confidence, respect, and love to wait for that to show up, to align with that, to magnetically draw the people that are what you seek towards you through being how you truly are. It's so much more powerful than just literally blindfolding yourself and throwing darts at the board and expending all this energy on people that are absolutely not for you. And then, of course, as a result, getting polluted by their energy. And so it just creates so much more work. It's like painting over a wall. Like there's 20 layers of paint. So stripping that back is like just a lot more work than if there was just one or two. So here's how we can start with looking after your side of the street. Self-reflect, obviously, awareness. Take some time to assess where you are emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And are there areas that you're holding on to negative beliefs or past hurts around your desire? Are you carrying like emotional or energetic baggage that's weighing you down? Then release it. Practices like journaling or meditation, or even working with an energy healer like me to release these old patterns and thoughts and behaviors and perceptions that no longer serve you. So the more you clear the way, the easier it will be for this flow to find and align with you, right? And then you have to live your best life now. This is one big thing that I've really worked on myself. Like the idea that I'll be happy when, I'll be confident when, I'll be safe and secure when, I'll be my authentic self when. Oh my gosh, I have fought all of these battles. And I will keep fighting them until I think I'm at a much better place with it. But it still pops up from time to time because this is obviously deeply ingrained programming in me. It will be okay when. But living your best life now is to live fully present in radical acceptance of this moment. It's so easy to get stuck in the future. But if you always focus on when things will happen and how you will feel when they happen and what you'll have and what you do and who you will be when they happen, you're completely missing the beauty of the present moment. And you're energetically actually pushing away the desire. You're keeping it at bay because the magnetic signal you're sending out is, I will be that when. And we know like attracts like. So you keep attracting circumstances that are a little bit like it, but not quite it. Or you keep attracting circumstances into your electromagnetic field, into your experience, but it's never quite fully lived out. This is why, because you're in the I'll be happy when. So you have to surrender to life as it is now. It's so essential and part of divine timing because it aligns your energy with abundance. It aligns your energy. It focuses your energy on becoming who it is your desires are asking you to be. And I'm sure all of our desires at some point are asking us to be more joyful, more grateful, more fulfilled, more at peace, more grounded, more confident in the present. And the more you expand into that, the more you become a magnet for what it is that you want. So look at the things you want and ask yourself, what do I think I'll be or experience if A, B, C, D were to actually transpire? And how can you authentically cultivate that being into your existence now? Always tapping into those high vibration emotions of gratitude and joy. Start gratitude practice. Appreciate everything that you have. Honestly, vibrational alignment really responds to gratitude because we align with what we focus on. Remember, your attention, wait, let me get this right. I'm going to get this saying wrong on the spot. What is it? I'm going to say it and I'll probably say it wrong, but then that'll help me say it right. Energy flows where your attention goes. I think I said it right first go. Check me. So what we focus on, we're pouring energy to. Hence, we will attract more of that. Be joyful. Engage in activities that bring you joy. Whether it's spending time with people you love, pursuing hobbies, taking care of yourself. Joy is so high vibe. High vibe attracts high vibe. Then please work on this one. Heightened intuition. When things align, we will know it's right because of what our intuition is telling us about it. Remember, your intuition does not shout. It's a quiet voice, that gut feeling, that knowing when to take action and when to let go. The key to strengthening your connection to your intuition so you can recognize the signs and opportunities when they show up is to practice listening to it. And here's how you know it's your intuition. You can't explain it. It makes sense, but you can't explain or justify it. You just know. Meditation really helps me with this. That moment just to sit with yourself, quiet your mind, opening the channels, and that silence will help you hear that inner voice, and you'll hear the inner voice of fear and you'll hear the inner voice of knowing. Know that the inner voice's fear is really loud, it has a lot to say, and it has a lot of evidence to what it's telling you about. Where your intuition just says, I know. Trusting yourself is also really important. Trust your instincts or your intuition. If you feel guided to do something, even if it seems unconventional, like you can't explain it or justify it, trust that it's part of the divine plan that your soul is creating for you. Not some guy in the sky, but your higher self. Your higher self's nudging you left, even though you've always gone right. Your higher self is saying, speak up when you've always kept quiet. Your higher self is saying, smile at that stranger when you've always just put your head down. Trust. And when you're connected to this higher self, this intuition, you're better able to recognize the right opportunities when they arise and act with graceful confidence, as opposed to seeking the lower forms or repeated patterns. And I think one of the most challenging part of divine timing is trusting the process and having the patience to wait. When we're waiting for something, we often feel like nothing is happening. Right? We might get frustrated. We might doubt that our desires are even being heard, or that all the work that we're putting into ourselves is actually even making a difference. But here's the truth. Things are always happening behind the scenes. Why? Because we are all living in our own movies. And your job is to create the most beautiful movie, the most exciting adventure that you can. And so you just have to trust that as a result of that, other people are going to collide with you that have that like vibe. You can't be over here creating a horror story, like a real thriller, and expect us, live in Alice in Wonderland. with the person making that movie. Like, you guys are not going to collide. So all you can do is just look after your side of the street and trust that, like, it's all going to align at the right time. It is unfolding perfectly for what it is you're pouring your attention into. You're pouring your attention into lack. You're pouring your attention into I'll be happy when. You're pouring your attention to I hate what is. I can't stand what is. Yep. The universe only says yep. 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 But when you surrender, when you let go, when you allow yourself to expand and be all your authentic, glorious self in this present moment, magic happens. It really does happen. Infinite patience produces immediate results. I often say to clients when they're frustrated that, they haven't met their special person yet, or they haven't been given the dream job yet, or whatever it is, I always say to them, like, imagine if this is your last weekend single. Imagine if you meet the love of your life that you decide to walk this earth with on Monday. Imagine this is your last weekend. What would you do with that? Imagine this is your last month in this job that you hate. How would you do it? So life can change in a moment. And unpacking this concept of divine timing hopefully helps you understand that things do fall into place at the perfect moment, but we have a big responsibility in the orchestration of this moment. That we can align ourselves with the natural flow of events by trusting our intuition, by looking after our side of the street, by living our best life. We're not waiting for a delivery from the universal post office. We're not. We are actually having so much more influence over the course, the direction, and the purpose of our life than we often give ourselves credit for and want to take responsibility for. So whether you're seeking love, career success, financial abundance, personal growth, the key is not to wait. It's about becoming ready for it, aligning your energy in fun and joy and trust and gratitude, and know that what you want wants you too, but they want you at your best. They want you at the like vibration. And when you focus on living authentically and doing your inner work, when you focus on expanding in your purpose and loving what is, this absolutely increases your magnetism to collide with the right opportunities, the right people, the places, when the timing for everyone's dream collides. So I hope that in some way you've learned that the true meaning of divine timing is about expansion and joy and fun, and not about waiting, but aligning. And how to live this process is to trust it, is to fall in love with self and getting in sync with your version of the perfect flow in life. I hope that this helps. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts and your takes on it, even your experiences with practicing any of these. I think sometimes when we share those, and you can do that on social media posts about this episode, or even send them to me, and if you don't mind me sharing them, I absolutely will, about how you have done some of these things and how it has worked out for you. I think we get such inspiration from other people. So start living in the harmony and flow of life, and know what it truly does mean to be in the right place at the right time through other people's experiences. And of course, share this episode with someone that you may feel would be interested or benefit from knowing that they are so much more empowered than the concept of divine timing may have alluded to. As always, sending you so much love and light as you navigate your path.